was muted. Of course I was muted. Hi, everyone. I was saying nice things, and now I'm not gonna say nice things, because the moment passed. No, I'm kidding. I was saying, Sarah, thank you for saying that your love and support will keep my heart warm. It will. Thank you. Also, this hot cocoa. I've got some hot cocoa going, which is very warm. Yeah, that's good. That's the good stuff. But yes, hello Irish, hello Joe, hello Sarah. Yeah, that's that's the folks in the chat for now. Hello everyone else who may not be in the chat. Oh, Deoxyribo, hello, hello. Oh, Tom, thank you for the resub. Thank you for that. Also, when that just came up, did you all hear sounds? Because I realized when I watched the VOD back last week that I don't think any of my brand new alerts had sounds. Crickets, cool. And those of you who were here last week, did you hear sounds last week? Because you were supposed to, and it occurred to me that you maybe didn't, and that's so sad because I got so excited about all of my new alerts and then realized afterwards that maybe you didn't hear all of the sound effects. And I did sound designs. That's not just crickets. There's rustling leaves, there's ambient, other noises. Sarah, I think I heard some sounds. Okay. Maybe some were on, some weren't. I adjusted some settings. I'm glad you can hear them now, but yeah, I'm curious if anyone remembers if they could hear things last week. That was a bit of a bummer to realize. Do I use a mix for my hot cocoa? Yes, I definitely do. Hi, Mikey. Happy Cozy Chaos Crafty Monday. I do use a mix. I even just mix it with water. I don't even put milk in it. I could say that's because I'm lactose intolerant, but as we all know, there are many alternatives these days to other things. Yatsuribo, thanks so much for the resub, and Hype Train has started, and Irish Disney Nerd, congrats on the streak. Amazing, amazing. No, I don't know, I just grew up with, but my mom used water for the hot cocoa, and I don't know if that's because, she grew up in a family that wouldn't have had money to just, spare on extra milk, so that's just all that she knew. I have no idea. It's not even something I questioned until I was, an adult, and I met people who put milk in their hot cocoa. There are a number of things that, people apparently use milk for that we just always used water. So I like how it tastes, and yeah, I am lactose intolerant, so even though I have milk alternatives that I'll use for other things, I just still prefer to use water for my hot cocoa. What I do have, not like cereal, Joe, I do not use water in my cereal like a certain John Green does. I did go through a phase where I tried doing water in my cereal, and I think that was before I heard about it from John, because I remember the first time I heard him say it, I felt a slight solidarity. Yeah, I had maybe a year or two where I did water in my cereal. And I think it was fine for things like Cocoa Puffs, really sugary cereals, but just, yeah, wasn't good enough. And then I found a brand of almond milk that I liked, and I was like, that's what I use for cereal from now on. Diatsuribo, I also do not get the Hype Train. I have not been here as long as you, but I don't get it either. Ritoto, good evening. Welcome, welcome. We're just chatting about hot cocoa. Sound off in the chat what everyone's eating or drinking tonight. I know a lot of you, this is your getting ready for dinner stream. Or if anyone's already moved on to crafting, let us know. Tom says also used water sometimes as a kid. Ooh, but these days I use barista blend oat milk. Now that is very fancy. And yes, probably quite pricey. Joe says, everyone try warm water rinsing for brushing your teeth. One of my students said she tried it once and she's never going back. Okay. I actually went through a period of time where I was brushing my teeth in the shower because I liked the warm water feeling. I think there were also, I don't know, it was efficient. I had this was my early 20s where everything was about, I don't know, experimenting with life hacks. But I remember the feeling of the warm water when I was, brushing my teeth. I loved that feeling. It was very different. So I'm totally with your student, Joe. Let's see, Sarah's getting ready for workout. Yes, congrats on continuing to go to that workout class. Also, leftover chicken and mushrooms with rice. That sounds tasty. Um, just checking back up. Okay, I thought I might have missed some things. What I was gonna say is that even though I am literally using a mix with water for my hot cocoa, not only a mix, but like it's probably expired. I don't know where this packet came from, but I do have these little marshmallow bits. They're like, you can buy a whole thing of just the marshmallows that come with the hot cocoa mixes, so like the freeze-dried kind. And yeah, I got these from Target many years ago. Actually, I wonder how expired these are. So these expired in March of 2023. But they're meant to be dry and stale, so I'm sure they're fine. But I'm gonna add some of these to the hot cocoa. God, let's do that. Oh yeah, nice. All right, now we're talking. Now the hot cocoa's good. I'm not dead, so it's fine. I mean, I haven't had them yet. Yeah, those are definitely stale, but like they'll soften up in here. Yeah, only 3 years past the best by date is pretty good for me. There was a memorable moment when I was moving, and I was like going through all of my very expired toiletries and like medicines, and I asked my roommate. I was like, "Hey, do you think it's okay to use this Benadryl that expired in 2011?" Like, I knew it was old, but it was so much older than I expected it to be. Our consensus was I would probably be fine, but it also probably wouldn't do anything for me. I do remember reading some post-apocalyptic novel that I wish I could remember the name of to tell you about. It might have been YA, and it was the post-apocalyptic element was lack of water that had led to the scenario we were in for this book. But one thing that always stuck with me was that the mom had like hoarded and collected, not in like a hoarder way, but had a lot of like old expired medicine, and kind of all they had to treat anything was like 10-year expired Tylenol. And my takeaway from that, from this YA novel, was that it's safe to take expired, like over-the-counter medicine like Tylenol. You just need to take more of it because it's not going to be as effective. Should just say, again, not a doctor, not necessarily recommending that. I learned that from a YA novel. It might not be true, but that has always stuck in my brain of like, oh, I guess for some things, like maybe Tylenol or Benadryl, maybe it's okay. If Jack passes out, who's closest to call 911 for him? I know we got some other New England folks in the chat, so taking medical advice from a YA novel is better than taking medical advice from Facebook. Probably. You would hope that there's a little bit of at least sensitivity reading that happened in a YA, in like novel publishing, but you don't get like professional fact checking for fiction or nonfiction in like trade publications and writing for the public. Like academic books, tons of peer review and stuff will go into that, but with novels and nonfiction for the public, it's just like the legal team will look at it. But that said, probably still more reliable than a Facebook post. Rototo says, after one bad experience, I don't mess with expired stuff. I mean, that's probably smart. I've gotten a lot better. I have actually really been going through my house and getting rid of a lot of stuff. Yes, New England. I'm in Massachusetts. Rototo, I believe you're in New England as well. Sorry if I outed you. I think I've heard that on your stream though. I've been like, yeah. So apparently if I pass out from these expired marshmallows, you might be the one who has to call 911. Also, I said this in the little stream alert, I don't have any heat right now. That's the real reason someone might need to call 911 for me, is if I get real cold tonight. As I talk about my heat, let's actually do some stitching. Let's get into this warm-up stitch. Let's see if this is... I decided to try to attempt the autofocus tonight, but looks like it is not working the way I want it to. I always do manual focus, and I was like, you know what? Let's see if autofocus works. And maybe it will. It's autofocusing on my hands. That's something. We'll give it a little chance. Northeast is probably, yeah, that's probably the wiser, more general way to say it. Sorry about that. Let's see. Irish choosing your only drink is an unopened can of Club Orange. Yes, 11 p.m. No caffeine, probably smart. It's only 6 here, and that's too late for me to have caffeine. I actually drank coffee later into the day than I usually do today, just sort of by accident. But yeah, 2 p.m. usually is when I am like, nope, I'm done, or else I will not sleep. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I want to leave us some space here. See if we can get the camera actually focusing on the stitches. That's a little bit better. But yes, hot cocoa. I think the sugar in hot cocoa will be okay. I'll probably get a little bit of a sugar high on stream, which is not a bad thing, and then hopefully be able to sleep, because I did not sleep well last night. I was up for about 4 hours in the middle of the night trying to get back to sleep, and it did not really work. I did eventually get back to sleep around 6 a.m., which is close to when I originally wanted to get up, but I let myself sleep some more. So I'm hoping that I will fall asleep very easily tonight. The glorious focus showed every pore of my hand. Great, thanks, Tom. Irish just had 3 cups of tea today. Yeah, see, maybe we're all just like real caffeinated. Had to get the energy going for the day. Also, by the way, if anyone is new here to the stream tonight, I am doing our every stream warm-up pattern that I do, which I'll put into the chat. There's a little explanation of what I'm doing. Rototo just finished crocheting his first tank top. Wow, that's exciting. Congratulations. I don't think I've popped into your stream for like a week or so I haven't seen if you've been working on that on stream, but congratulations on finishing it. Finishing any project feels like an accomplishment, but especially when you finish like a category of something you haven't done before, so like your first tank top, that I imagine must feel even more satisfying. Deoxyribo had an Earl Grey milk tea boba this afternoon. I haven't had boba in a while. That sounds super tasty. By the way, for folks who don't know, Rototo's an amazing streamer and crocheter who I like to lurk on sometimes. How do you give a shout out? I always forget how to do that. I'm trying to do it. Is it just exclamation point? Boom, boom, boom. Or do you do shout out? Does that work? No. Why am I so bad at Twitch still? SO. Okay, we'll try that. I'm just gonna try this. Well, I at least tagged you, so other people go check out Rototo's channel, and apparently Discord as well, and see this. Well, the tank top photo looks like it's not there yet. Gotta make a first outfit with it. That's fun. Too cold for a tank top, though. Yes, it is definitely too cold for a tank top still up in the Northeast. Irish Disney Nerd is working through a tricky pie cross on iPad. Ooh, what is it of? Is it like a... Or do you know yet, if you're still working through it? Foxco, welcome in! Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? What are you working on tonight, if anything? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll go down, do the bottom of this spool. I don't like that that's showing through, so we're gonna go start in this corner. But yeah, my furnace broke last night. Well, furnace started kind of acting weirdly last night, and I was like, I'm gonna give it the night to see what happens, and I ended up turning it off while I slept last night, which is not why I woke up. I didn't wake up because it was cold. I think I was stressed about the furnace and about many other things. But then today I called my landlord and we had a guy come out, and it took several hours of like all kinds of experimenting happening. And the diagnosis was need a new furnace. Nothing that they could do as a sort of like stopgap to get me some heat until the new furnace can be installed. It was just like, nope, that's it. And they tried, like they were really trying to give me some kind of option. And also, to my landlord's credit, he did offer to like put me up in a hotel, or and then I was like, no, I couldn't possibly. He was like, I'll give you my home address, you can come over. And I was like, it's okay, I have friends. If I have a community, if I need to go somewhere, I have places that I can go. But also, I don't know, it wasn't that bad last night. I'm not that cold. I've got my warm beverages and I have hot water. I'll take a hot shower. I think so far that I'll be fine. But it is a little bit chilly in here. And yeah, it is warming up. I was like, man, if the furnace could have lasted like 2 more days, it's gonna be in like the 50s this week. So that would have been nice, but of course, never happens. This furnace it's about as old as me. I think it's in its mid-30s. I've only lived in this house for a couple of years, but I have learned about the history of the house, because my landlord grew up in this house and like worked on it a lot. His dad built an addition on it, stuff like that. So I learned today that the furnace is over 30 years old. The hot water heater was replaced over the summer, maybe, and like the gas line was also like, everything has been replaced since I moved here, and I like feel bad. None of it was me. I shouldn't feel bad. Like, but yeah, I guess I'm glad that I'm renting and haven't had to pay for all of those replacements. But I also feel bad that my landlord has had to pay for all of those things. Yeah, 50-plus-year-old furnace. That one, wow, that lasted you a good long time. Either you or the previous owners must have taken very good care of that. And that's the frustrating thing, too, with all these appliances, is that none of the ones that are getting installed, like none of the replacements, will last nearly that long. They're just not made as good anymore. I'm not positive what the lifespan would be, but like every single technician who has been out for all of the things that have been replaced in this house, they've all been like, yeah, your next one's not gonna last you as long, like to my landlord. It is a bummer. Do I have any space heaters or anything? No. I have a heating pad, like for pain, that I was like, I'll use that at some point. I've got some real good blankets, and I can do jumping jacks and take hot showers and wear layers. I mean, I've camped in colder weather. Well, not colder weather than it is outside, but colder weather than it's gonna get inside. Maybe as a kid I camped in colder weather. There were a couple of times when I was like kindergarten age when we accidentally got stuck in blizzards while we were camping. But of course I don't remember that super well, so I would not say that that is a helpful reference point. I just know that I've done it. A fridge from 2000? I wouldn't be shocked if my fridge is from about that time, just by the look of it. It's gotta at least be early 2000s. Like, both in terms of features and design and the wear and tear on it. Okay, I actually need to scroll back up to my little spool shelf command I put in the chat, because I always forget. Okay, 817. So I think it's been 3 followers since last week. Potentially... No, I think that's true. I think that's it. We rated, Raindrop Races, who was very fun. It was a fun stream to raid into, and they gave me a little shout out, and a handful of people followed, so thank you. And if any of you are here from Raindrop Races from last week, welcome back. Thank you. I'm gonna do a little floss on this bobbin I stitched to represent those 3 followers from the past week. So thank you to the 3 of you. If you're here, still thank you, even if you're not here. Okay. Sarah has friends who sometimes camp in the mountains in winter. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, in this moment where I'm trying to, like, toughen myself up mentally, I don't want to dwell too much on the fact that the last several times I went camping and it was colder than anticipated, and I was like, I never want to do this again. There were just a couple of times in recent years that I've gone camping and I was like, it's so cold. I'm so tired of being cold. It's also rained the last few times I've gone camping, and I've just gotten really sick of it. Like, I want to go camping on a warm, dry summer day. So I do not think I would like camping in the mountains in winter in this moment. But I also want to try to trick myself into being like, no, camping in the cold was so much fun, and you can do this tonight. Every person I've rated so far has seemed like a cool person. Yeah, I feel like we've had good luck. It's been very fun. I feel like I've met some fun friends and new people to follow. Rototo, you have a fireplace. I also have a fireplace, but it's not functioning. I cannot use it. It has not been, like, serviced by a mason in many, many years. I think probably since this house started being a rental. So that is not something that I can try. That would be great. There are so many houses in this area that have, like, wood fire stoves as well as sources of heating. That would be nice. I have none of the things. Oh, the pie cross from Irish Disney. Generic pattern of different shades of green. That sounds really nice, though. Like you're getting ready for springtime. Tom is not a camping person. That's fair. There are a lot of people who are not camping people. I think I am mostly a camping person because my family started taking me camping from the time I was like 2 years old. So to me, it's just like, I think I don't have any like fears or anxieties around it. I think I have like good memories of it from childhood, so there's probably that nostalgia aspect. So I think there's a lot of reasons why I like it, but I totally understand people not being into it. It is kind of a silly concept when you think about it. Like, you know, humans have worked so hard, or certain societies of humans have worked so hard to have like all of these levels of comfort, and particularly privileged people will then like go out into the wilderness and rough it, and it's like, why are you doing that when you don't have to? I understand that perspective, even though I am one of the weirdos who's like, I'm gonna go out for the weekend and rough it. Roughing it? What is... That phrase sounds weird when I say it that way. Oh, your fireplace is a wood-fired iron stove. I mean, I think I know the difference. But anything like that where you can just heat that up sounds great. Do you have to chop wood? Do you chop your own wood, or do you get it somewhere? I'm excited by the idea of having to chop my own wood eventually one day. Sarah would be a camping person if insects and bugs gave her a wide berth. That is very fair. Yeah, I do come back from camping with a lot of bug bites sometimes. And I get pretty worried about ticks. That's the big one. Having to check for ticks. Jack wants to be a lumberjack. Kind of. Tom would be in a cabin but has been told by strong-minded camping friends that does not count. Yeah, it kind of doesn't. It counts as like a cabin weekend. You could call it, you know, a rustic getaway. But I wouldn't say that it's camping, necessarily, no. Oh, nice. Okay, Rototo. Not doing any chopping yourself. Paying a guy to dump 2 cord splits, which I think I know what it means. I at least know that cord is a unit of, like, firewood, basically, because I hear people say that. I don't know how much that is. Like, if I had to order a certain amount of firewood, I would not know how many cords to get. I have much to learn before I achieve lumberjack status. Okay, hot cocoa. Starting to get a little bit cold. I'm gonna put it on the heating pad. Not the heating pad like the one I said I have for back pain. This is a mug warmer. That's the word for it. Mug warmer. Oh, and I just remembered we also had Tom and Deoxyribo resubbed, so can also add some stitches to the shelf. Thank you both for your resubs tonight. The needle is stuck back here. Oh, I also have been forgetting to... Do I want to leave this floss on or not? What do I want to do here? I suppose I will leave it on for now. Okay. And then we'll do this. Have I heard of the series Before the Coffee Gets Cold, translated from Japanese? I have not heard of that. By the name, I'm intrigued. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? What happens in the series? Is it kind of a, like, Between Two Ferns kind of thing? Like two people having a conversation? Okay, turn this back around. Definitely been liking this 360 stand. It's very helpful, especially while streaming. Although we will not use it once I move on to the Wingspan portion of the evening. Oh no, I just undid someone's from last week. Okay, so here we go. This is for Tom's resub. Helping build the shelf. And next we'll do for Deoxyribo's resub. I think those are the two so far. Thank you both for resubscribing tonight. Very, very much appreciate it. You are supporting the spools. You're supporting the channel both in cross-stitch and in reality, so I appreciate that. Enjoy your dinner, Rototo. Thank you for cooking with us, and trying to keep me warm from afar with your cooking. And with your jovial accompaniment. I'm just throwing out words tonight. But enjoy dinner. Thanks for stopping by. And all the rest of you who are stuck with me. Has an ad been happening this whole time? Well, I'm gonna get ready to do the Wingspan. Which is what has been on the screen, I'm just realizing, but I didn't fully... Oh well, whatever. Anyways, this is the closest thing to successful carpentry I've ever done. Wait, what is? Did I miss something from you, Tom? What is your successful carpentry? Oh yeah, Disney, if you're only 3 feet from the kettle, you probably don't need a mug warmer. But I will say, I got a mug warmer as like a white elephant gift. It was not something I'd ever thought to buy for myself. And I immediately loved it. And I have since upgraded to a different one from like the one I got, I think that was in like 2020. My little COVID pod, we had Christmas together. We all like isolated and then had a little found family Christmas when we couldn't travel back to our families. And we had a little white elephant, and I got a mug warmer and a desktop humidifier. 2 things I had never considered having in my life. And 6 years later, I am now fully bought into both products. I have upgraded them in significant ways, and I just like will not go back. So shout out to whichever one of my friends put those in the white elephant because it really. Oh, building the shelf is your carpentry, Tom. Gotcha. Well, you're doing phenomenally at it. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Sarah's got an update on the Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's a magical realism series. Oh, I don't know why I was assuming it was like nonfiction light entertainment. Magical realism. Okay, and everything takes place in a coffee shop. Each chapter focuses on different characters. You get to meet many different people, slowly get to know staff. The coffee shop has a specific seat that if a person sits in it, they can travel forwards or backwards in time. It's a time-traveling coffee shop? This is my kind of thing. Only for the length of time before the coffee gets cold. Oh my gosh. Wait, so this is a novel. I literally thought this was like a YouTube show. Wow. my brain is cooked. Okay, I'm gonna open this in a tab for later tonight, because that's great. before the coffee gets cold. Wow, I love it. I thought I had. I guess I don't. Okay, I got distracted looking at something else. Okay, Wingspan time. Let's do Wingspan. Put this to the side for now. Check out my keyboard. So, wow, this feels so much further away now. Can I pull it down? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I have not done a ton more because I ended up having to frog almost everything I did on last week's stream. Because the designs that I made in the lower right-hand corner there, I made them for... Can I pull it out here? Is it still in here? Yes. I made them for the smaller sized nests. I need 6 total. I'm making half of them the small size and half of them the big size so that they can like stack inside of each other, nest inside of each other when they're put away in the game box. This is for the tabletop game Wingspan. But what I did not realize when I started stitching the bottom of this is that my designs did not necessarily account for those size discrepancies. The patterns that I designed are just this size. So I should have been adding... I'm also now realizing I did this one off center too. I'm just a mess. But this one I went back and fixed. So I frogged a ton of this and then restitched, I think, a little bit more than what I originally had. So we're going to try to continue that. Maybe we'll actually get to the fish part today. Maybe I'll stop the brown at some point before it's done just so we can get to the fish part and have a little bit more fun. We shall see. Beauty of nature is not always symmetrical. I mean, that is what I'm reminding myself a lot for this pattern in general, because they are supposed to be bird nests, and like bird nests are not perfectly neat. I'm showing you like the better sides of this that do actually look quite neat, but this one you can see is already starting to be kind of rough around the edges. Maybe you can't see on camera. That's kind of great. I'm in full HD instead of 4K. You can't see the imperfections as well, but trust me, in real life, it's not quite all there. Nature allowed by humans must be controlled. Oof, that's a whole topic. I'm currently reading The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer, so I have a lot of thoughts about humans attempting to control nature right now. Not that I don't always, but it is particularly top of mind at the moment. Let's get the iPad actually showing up here. Bam, okay. So yeah, I basically need to add an extra square, like one extra stitch around the full edge of this pattern. So like in the pattern, when I see like 3, I need it to be 4, as an example. And so that's what I have to keep remembering to do. Also, huge success today. One of the colors that I have been checking at multiple stores for weeks was finally back in stock. I gotta do the like beauty YouTuber thing with this autofocus now, where I put my hand behind it, but 938, finally back in stock. So I should be good on my supply of stitches for now. Okay. This is my mess of needle binders with all the needles stuck in it. This is what this has become lately. I started using this little like plate by where I like stitch in the living room just to kind of keep stuff a little bit organized, but that made me a little less organized by just having all these needles like this. So that's a horrifying thing that I'm doing. Oh, Sarah, that little like wizard party hat looks fun. Lawns in the US, yeah, lawns are a whole thing. Every needle in a 10-mile radius is going to get minded whether it wants to or not. Yeah, that's kind of it. As a reminder, I do have, reminder for the needle minders. I have a channel point redeem now where you can make me change my needle minder, which is part of why I have this big kind of Katamari Damacy ball of needle binders and needles going on over there. Okay, and now to remember where I was at with floss. This is apparently the last piece of floss on this bobbin. So I will either need to wind a fresh bobbin, or I might have a second one somewhere. Just zone into the vibes of what you just showed us of the needle minders for the nests. What? Oh, okay. Zone into the vibes as in, like, just, like, be sort of messy and chaotic with it. All the needle minders were just piled together. And then I will pile the nests together. They looked very nesty. And yeah, it was like a metallic nest happening. Okay. Is anyone else gonna wake up early tomorrow for the blood moon? Or the lunar eclipse, rather? It's both, I believe. I know that on the East Coast, it's like 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. is when you'll have the best viewing time. I'm not positive, but for other places. But I think it's supposed to be like the last total lunar eclipse until New Year's Eve 2028, which also sounds awesome. Having a lunar eclipse on New Year's Eve. I feel like there's got to be astrology folks who have some thoughts on that. Is this the right color? No. I'm putting it on the wrong bobbin. 3:30 a.m. Pacific. All right, so deoxyribo, maybe you won't be. Maybe you will. Tom didn't know that was happening, but I'm up at 4 a.m. every morning. Yeah, you gotta remember to look at the moon. Irish says it's not visible from Ireland. Yeah, double check, because it's visible in, like, a lot of the world. So maybe you already checked. I don't want to, like, correct you if you've already looked into it. But if you were assuming just because I'm talking about North America, I would double check just in case. Hot cocoa's great. I don't drink hot cocoa enough. Deoxyribo's an astrology queer. Shout out. Don't have thoughts currently. Yeah, I mean, I have not looked into what anyone has to say about it yet, but it feels like something that's going to be important, right? I'm gonna say, mug warmer, not keeping this hot cocoa as warm as I would want it to. Maybe the mug warmer is having to work extra hard against how cold it is in my house right now. I realized that with the tea kettle. Like, it was taking so long, I thought for a minute that I had turned the wrong burner on, but I think it was just so cold. Hello, Lauren. Thanks for popping in. What are you eating for dinner? Irish, that is such a fantastic question, and indeed, sometimes you would be correct that I would forget something like that. However, it is plugged in, and it has a little light that illuminates when it is on, so I know for sure that it is right now. Green chili stew. Nice. Nice. And is it turned on? Yes. Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, which is a water sign. And you spilled water on your laptop last week. I hope your laptop's okay. A little bit of water is usually okay for laptops these days. I hope that's alright. That is a funny coincidence, though. Okay, we are finally getting to this. Okay, I gotta say, for the most part, it does feel like... Sorry, I just realized that I think my app did not actually save everything I had done, which is frustrating considering how specifically I'm having to track all of this. So I think I actually did all of this, but I should count to be sure. And where am I adding in? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. I'm gonna slightly trust that I figured something out off stream and just follow symmetrically with the other side of the circle for now. But there's a chance that that's what it is. going to end up a little off center again. Yes. Perfect time for the doing the math redeem. Which again, did that have sound last week? And does it have sound now? I assume it does since the subscriber alerts did. But yeah, I was very bummed to realize that potentially. No and yes! Okay, thank you, Joe. Joe, I don't know if you were here at the top of the stream when I was explaining that all of the alerts do have sounds, and I didn't realize until I watched the VOD back last week that they didn't seem to have sounds on stream, and that was so disappointing, because I was like really hyping them up about how hard I'd worked on them, and part of how hard I'd worked was on the sound design. Not really on that one, but on others. And so it was a bummer to realize they didn't fully work. So, now they do. Have fun. Guess you'll just have to use all the redeems again. I mean, I am assuming a good few of you have, like, quite a high number of channel points because I did not have anything to redeem for the longest time. Tom, don't you had, like, so many last time I brought this up. It was ridiculous. Am I planning to rickroll you? No. Have not done that. I don't think I would. I'd have to come up with some really good idea. Okay, yes, Tom has 23,400 channel points. Irish thought they'd plugged the Hoover in after it died, went back to it 5 days later only to realize he hadn't flicked the switch on the wall. Ugh, yeah, very frustrating. That was the first thing that my landlord asked me today, was sort of about, like, turning the furnace on and off again. And I was just like, man, I wish that had worked. I tried the easy fixes, if only. Replaced the filter. I opened it up and looked at things and gave it a nod, you know, like men do who don't know things about mechanical and electric stuff. You know, you open the hood of the car and you look at it as if you're gonna know what's wrong when you're not an auto mechanic. So I did that with the furnace, and that didn't help. Mikey's got 13K, Sarah's got 14K. Gender affirming nod. yeah, exactly. I gave the furnace that gender affirming nod. To be like, yeah, I see you. I don't understand you, but I see you. Unfortunately, that was not enough for my furnace to decide to work for me. Do we get to exchange channel points for a new gender? That's something I could try to come up with. We gotta decide what the genders are. What did I hear today? Oh, there was an ad for flag football, and they were like, I think this was local radio maybe, and they said, flag football, like, registrations now open for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. It's like the 4 genders. Boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. It's your only options. You gotta pick one. I guess adults gets to be gender neutral, or maybe you're non-binary if you pick adult as your gender. High school girls, girls, and boys is all, like, fairly straightforward. 500k channel points for top surgery. What, am I performing it? You don't want that. I don't even know how a furnace works. How am I supposed to yeet those teats? Come on. USAA list I sent the other day. Oh, that's true. Yeah, the USAA list that was like mom, dad, or, you know, like partner. But then there were also things like maid, gardener, exchange student. I would do my relationship as gardener. Ooh, I could cross-stitch things up post-surgery. I have been wanting to do some kind of pattern that would have, like, cross-stitched, like, scar lines. I feel like I would want the rest of the design to be, like, black work or embroidery. Like, basically, like, just backstitching, so it's just, like, a single outline of a person. But then the scars are X's, like, cross-stitching. I don't know, I had that like vision in my mind a long time ago, and I've yet to do anything with that, but I think it would look cool. I saw a meme a while ago that was a screenshot of selecting gender in the options where male, female, prefer not to say. Caption was something like, what are you, a cop? Why do you want to know? Counter, why do cops need to know? I think there would be some current problems that would be slightly null and void if our driver's licenses didn't have genders on them. But not wading into that topic too much. I'm trying to think back about... There was something that I was gonna say. Oh, on gardeners as a gender. I named the, like, subscriber tiers, but I don't know where it shows up anywhere. I was hoping it would show up in the alerts, I don't think it's, like, showing up anywhere. But tier 1 is apprentice, tier 2 is gardener, and tier 3 is horticulturalist. So, if anyone cares for any reason, I did that on the back end, and I don't know that it will ever show up anywhere. But your gender can be gardener. At least your gender of subscribing to my channel. That is not to say that anyone needs to like up their tiers. I just had fun. I'm having fun with anything that I can customize, and like making everything very like garden-y, farmy kind of themed right now. Thanks, Lauren. That's a very me on brand kind of quote. Speaking of gardeners as a gender, I am a pretty binary transsexual, but I would say if I had to pick like a fun gender, gardener sounds pretty good. I'd pick gardener as a gender. I don't think I could pick pumpkin. If I could be like specifically a pumpkin gardener or a vegetable gardener, I don't know how specific I'm allowed to get with my gender decision in this fake world that I'm creating. Or is it just our real world? Because your gender can be whatever you want it to be. I don't care. No one really makes those rules. As specific as I want. Yeah, exactly. What would you all pick? It doesn't have to be like an occupation or a level of flag football. Despite what some normies would say, your gender does not have to be a level of flag football. It can indeed be anything you want. Oop, I'm almost making a knot here. But I didn't. Don't worry. Don't freak out. I didn't do it. I make my rules. I make so many rules for myself. That way I can break them and feel like a rebel when the only thing that I'm actually rebelling against is my insistence that I should, you know, like do the dishes or wash my face before bed. And that way I can feel rebellious doing that kind of thing and not feel a desire to be any more rebellious in my life. Oh, gender being red cowboy boots is very good. I have red cowboy boots, and I have an absolutely iconic picture of me as a toddler in a full, like, matching outfit. Which I wish Rototo were still here, because it's the outfit I was wearing as, like, a 2 or 3-year-old is red cowboy boots with red short shorts and a red tank top, and a red cowboy hat, of course. But I have red cowboy boots now that barely fit, but I got them in a kind of magical way, so I have to hold on to them. One of my friends / former colleagues at the New York Neo-Futurists produced a show. Ooh, and now I can't remember the title of it. The show was something about dressing up. But it was a whole show of kind of like original pieces about relationships to clothing. Some of them were songs, So it was fairly musical. Some of them were just like monologues or dance numbers, but the set was like in a black box, and they had just sourced tons and tons of used clothing that were hung up like on racks kind of all around the audience. And at a certain point in the show, everyone in the audience got to like go through the racks and try on whatever they wanted, and each audience member got to take one piece of clothing home with them. And when I went to see the show, I immediately saw this pair of red cowboy boots, and I tried them on, and they like fit well enough for it to feel like a very magical moment. There's definitely a picture of me on my Instagram somewhere from probably like 3 or 4 years ago, rocking those red cowboy boots. All right, let me see what people's genders are. Deoxyribo says video game controller in pixel art. That's your gender today. Oh yeah, like kind of like the a little bit like the emoji controller. Okay. Sarah wants to be green cat eye gender. Ooh, okay, that's cool. Joe's first response was Play-Doh. I love that. Play-Doh feels like the most like gender fluid option. You know, you construct whatever you want on the day, but you'll have that great salty taste every day. Don't eat Play-Doh. I say as if toddlers are watching my stream. Lauren's gender would be cozy hand knit sweater. Yes, it absolutely would be. I can't believe no one is picking high school girl or adult. The best people are toddlers at heart, probably. That's true, but maybe the best part of toddlers and not the eating things they shouldn't eat part of toddlers. Tom's gender is small, soft potato. Aspire one day to be a more confident vegetable. I like that. That's very good. I will affirm everyone's genders. I think these are great genders, and they all seem to fit you so well. Although, if I did not see how they fit you, that would not discredit them in any way. I don't have to understand why you say what your gender is. Thanks, Joe, and thanks, Mikey, for the play-by-play. I feel like I said a good many things about Play-Doh, though, so that'll be a nice little surprise later of which Play-Doh comment made it. All right, so I just did a row of set wheat, which means I am now up to this row, I think. That was 7. And yes, that makes sense. This is all making a little bit of sense based on what I tried to correct last time. Okay. I think I got enough floss to do a little... Oh, what? Okay. Sorry. I was about to be like, I'm gonna do some Danish stitches for a bit, but then I remembered that because this is a 3D project, and you can see the back of it, Danish stitching does not look as good. It leaves more empty spaces on the back. It gives you a nice finished look if you want your back to be clean on a normal project, but it does not give you as much coverage as the English style, where you complete a full stitch for as you go instead of doing half stitches and then going back and finishing them. So I've just got to deal with it and have maybe not quite as clean a route here. I love the gender affirmation going on in the chat here. Sarah saying if you're a soft potato after cooking, you're 1000% perfect, which is so true. Oh, nice hot potato. Ooh, I have potatoes. I think it's gonna be too late to eat potatoes after the stream, but maybe that can be part of my strategy for keeping warm tomorrow, is making some warm potatoes. I should just like bake and cook a lot of stuff all day to keep the oven going, and then just hang out in the kitchen. That sounds like a pretty good strategy. Even if it's before cooking, all potatoes are amazing gifts. When I was in middle school, I made a website about potatoes. My best friends and I used to gift each other potatoes, like for our birthdays and stuff. We would find like the biggest or weirdest looking potatoes at the grocery store and then wrap them and give them to each other. And we had this whole like fake governmental agency about potatoes. That's what the website was, and we would like name the potatoes, and they were all named with acronyms, as inspired by the real name of the Wizard of Oz, which was revealed in the fourth Wizard of Oz book by L. Frank Baum. His full name is an acronym for Oz Pinhead, so he has 9 names, and it's something like Oscar, Zacharias, Phineas, Isaac, Nathaniel, Henkel, something Ambrose Diggs is the Wizard of Oz's full name. And so his initials were Oz Pinhead, and as a nickname he went by Oz, and that's what was on his hot air balloon. And then when he crash landed into Oz, they had already had a system of religion / government where Oz was the ruler, and so they all thought that he was destined to be their ruler, and he was, of course, a false idol. Anyways, that's the background of the Wizard of Oz for you, if you wanted to get deeper into Oz lore than the first book takes you. But my friends and I were big Oz nerds in middle school, and so when we got really into potatoes, we named our potatoes using the same naming scheme. This all sounds so nuts. This is who I was as a 12-year-old, all right? Sarah, I'm not sure which part of that made me your hero, but I'm glad you also like potatoes. Ooh, a potatogram fundraising for Valentine's. Yeah, that is absolutely something we would have done when we got really into potatoes. One of those friends, she and I always had like so many things in common with each other. It was like really strange. Well, we had the same name, and then I think our birthdays were like exactly a month away from each other, and we like frequently had the same interests or would like show up wearing the same things. We went to different high schools, and we've not super kept in touch, but we like follow each other on Instagram. And a little bit ago, she saw one of my stories and then messaged me and was like, I have the exact same car as you. Which I think I've posted on the internet before, so I'll just say my car is bright orange because I'm a stereotype of myself. I love the color orange and pumpkin, so I have a bright orange car, and she has the exact same make, model, and color of car. I'm like, wow, 20 years later, and we're still twinning. Welcome in, Allison. We're getting nerdy tonight with Wizard of Oz lore and potatoes and complicated naming heuristics. We were also talking about our genders, and Tom's gender is a certain type of soft potato. Small, soft potato? Warm potato? I'm so sorry that I am misgendering you live on stream, Tom. I do not remember your exact potato gender. But Allison, if you have a gender you're feeling tonight. And Dor, welcome! Hello, hello. Yeah, we were like joking but in affirming ways about what our genders could be. I said my gender was gardener. Lauren's was a cozy warm sweater. Was it Sarah's? Someone's was green cat eyes. You can scroll back up in chat. We've got some good genders going on stream tonight. Dor is painting, which I assume you mean as a craft, but also if your gender is painting tonight, that's rad. Oh no, Tom! I'm so sorry. Ooh, metallic orange. I think I am picturing those cars. That is not what I have. Mine is a bright pumpkin orange, because of course it is. Because that's who I am. Okay. Gonna get some more floss going for this wingspan. Allison's gender is usually bog hag, but sometimes also bro. That's very good. Bog hag. You ever had bog butter? That's a thing I learned about a few years ago and can't stop thinking about. I feel like Irish Disney nerds will probably be aware of that. And Dor. It's like a UK and Ireland thing, but you also both just seem like the types of people whose interests would overlap with things found in bogs centuries after they were put there. Dor's gender is watery acrylic paint, but specifically hooker's green. Ooh, lots of green happening in the chat tonight, which I very much feel. I'm with that. Allison has heard of bog butter. Afraid to try ancient butter steeped in peat. You know. I'm currently consuming 3-year past expiration date marshmallows. That's the same thing as, like, centuries old bog butter, right? It's all the same. Yeah, Dor, I might try it too. I feel like you'd have to. I think after, like, folks kind of... I wouldn't just, like, find it in the bog and try it straight out of there. But after, like, experts had kind of been like, yeah, it turns out this is, like, perfectly preserved, then I would try it. Tummy hurt, Maxine. For real. You've licked a train for science. How much science was going into that? Or was it more just curiosity? I think that I did a lot more of that kind of thing before the pandemic. I definitely, like, I was a dumpster diver. I was a I'll touch anything on the subway, I'll just wash my hands later kind of person. And I'm quite a bit more cautious now. Well, where'd that other piece of floss go? Or is it this? It's this. Okay. No. Did I put it all back? Hank Green licked a game cartridge for P4A. This year? Ooh, you wrote a report on the train you licked. Okay, yeah, that's science. Nice. I mean, where did the game cartridge come from, though? I feel like, especially if it was in his possession, that feels pretty fine. I feel like I might have just gotten the same color out twice. Oh, the taste stayed with him for a long time? Okay. Maybe not great. They're given a bitter flavor to keep kids from eating and licking them. Oh, I would have thought that the flavor was just, like, naturally bad from, like, the rare minerals in it or the metals or whatever. Okay, yes, I did just pull out the same color of floss twice. It's fine. It's all fine. Why don't they make the Play-Doh taste bitter to keep kids from eating it? I guess it's not as bad to eat Play-Doh as it is to eat parts of a game cartridge. That sounds pretty bad. Got an ad coming up in about 3 minutes. As a heads up to folks. Also, for anyone who is recently joined the stream, a couple of things to know. I'm Jack. Hi, if you just joined from the browse page or something. I am cross-stitching some custom Wingspan organizers for the tabletop game Wingspan. Melby, thank you so much for the resub. What the hell? How has 6 months passed? I know, right? Wait, also 6 months. We're at 6 months. I can't remember if I designed a 6-month subscriber badge yet. But most of you are using the founders badges, so that's all right. I know I got through 3 months for sub badges. I might have gotten to 6 months. I'll check that soon. But anyway, yes, doing some cross-stitching of some custom Wingspan organizers. Oh boy, okay, I actually have to BRB. For a minute, I'm getting an important phone call related to the furnace, so I will be right back. And maybe I'll run those ads. Hello, welcome back everyone, or welcome back to me, I guess. But thank you to those of you who just stuck around while I took that quick call and sat through some ads if you did. Just looking back at the chat. I recommend trying Play-Doh as a snack for the second semester. Yeah, well, sort of. Oh, Joe, thanks for summarizing the furnace lore. Oh, now I'm reading the lore. Okay, I discovered it was my long-lost biological sibling, tried to resuscitate it with a gender-affirming nod to no avail. Now without heat, but safe under a mountain of blankets. Well, it's not completely inaccurate, except for maybe the sibling part. Benevolent non-binary house gifted me with warming lifeblood in the form of hot cocoa to bring comfort to my heart in this time of trial. And maybe the HVAC professional can provide proper gender-affirming care ASAP. Yeah, I don't. The update was, We'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know if I believe some of what I was just told. But yeah, maybe we can get some gender-affirming care on this furnace tomorrow. Get a little top surgery going. Interesting development is that often these marshmallows will just like melt really quick in the hot cocoa, and these ones are not melting, but they also have not been coming into my mouth very much. And now there's like maybe 1 or 2 gulps of liquid left and all the marshmallows. So maybe I'll just get some very marshmallowy gulps, which I'm not upset about. Oh, but they are kind of melted. It was like liquid marshmallow. For someone who actually does not like marshmallows, there are 2 ways that I love them. And one is like these freeze-dried kind that you put in hot cocoa, or like Lucky Charms or something. And the other is s'mores. And so it's great that in the 2 main seasons, you could have s'mores or you could have hot cocoa with marshmallows. And like those are the 2 forms in which I will enjoy marshmallows. It is an excellent marshmallow vintage, yes, that March 2023 marshmallow. Surface tension held them together. I suppose so. I barely understand what surface tension is, I gotta be honest. Okay, so where were we in trying to find this floss? Okay. This appears to be 938. We have done you. Let's get 801 going. I was in the middle of trying to update people on what's going on this stream, and I was starting with explaining the Wingspan organizers, but I remember that I had more of a housekeeping thing I wanted to say, and now I'm not recalling it. Oh, I think the main thing is that if anyone is new here and sat through that break, hi, extra welcome for doing that. But also, if you're new here, just FYI, follows are now anonymous. New thing I'm trying out, because I realized that's how I like to use Twitch when I'm watching streams, is that I don't always like being shouted out when I follow someone. I just want to follow them so I don't forget who they are and because I'm enjoying their stream, but I don't want to be perceived. Excuse me, so I decided I should make my follows anonymous in the same way, and now I have. So, just FYI for anyone who's new here. And now, no, 938, 801. What did I ran out of 869 before? Okay, there is one 869. Oh, why do I have 2 bobbins of so many things? And I bet I'm gonna accidentally do that again, just now. Wait, no, it's sitting right there. I already have a bobbin. It is right there. And I do not have a duplicate, so I do just need to wind this one. I did not bring the drill up from the basement, so gonna have to do this by hand. Ugh. Goodbye, Lauren. Enjoy your post-dinner activities. Lucky Charms do hit when you haven't had them in a while. In fact, I have not had them in a while, so maybe I should. S'mores and hot cocoa should be the two use cases for marshmallows. I've thought about adding a daily s'more as a daily channel redeem. And I might. But I also might make it some other way that you can get a s'more. Because I like daily channel redeems that can build into something. And I don't know what a s'more would build into. A s'more is just a s'more. Is just a s'more, is just a s'more, is just a s'more. This feels spiritually like the Black Forest versus Haribo spectrum of gummy bear chewiness. Yeah, a little bit. I lean way more towards Haribo on that spectrum. Kind of can't go wrong with a gummy in my book, but I do prefer Haribo. Wow, okay. Door is hashtagged blessed by getting Lucky Charms this morning. Rice Krispie cakes. I will occasionally have one. I will eat them in moderation. They're not like my favorite, but you know, if someone has like homemade some and they're nice and warm, I will have one. Or like maybe once every like 10 years, maybe I'll get a craving for a Rice Krispie. Rocky Road, I do not like the taste of, but I have very, very strong associations with it in a good way. Which is basically that when I was little, and the Dallas Cowboys were winning the Super Bowl every year. back when everyone was saying, how about them Cowboys? My family had, like, my parents sort of had like a best friend, like their couple best friend, who lived near us, and we would go to their house for like most of the Cowboys games and many other reasons. We were very, very close with that family. And being young and not that into football at the time, I would get bored during like the long playoff games, and the mom of the other family, who maybe also didn't really like football, would take me with her into the kitchen and get me ice cream. And her favorite was Rocky Road, so it was almost always Rocky Road ice cream. And we would sit in the kitchen, just the two of us, having our Rocky Road ice cream. And it always felt like a really special moment. It was like just for me and her. And she passed away from cancer when I was 7. So that's kind of like my main memory that I have of her, is all those times that we sort of snuck away from the game in the kitchen and had Rocky Road ice cream together. And so even then, I didn't really like the Rocky Road ice cream. I didn't like the marshmallows in it, but I ate it because, I mean, I loved ice cream, but also because it felt like a little special moment just for the two of us. And so it made me like the ice cream just for that reason. And I still kind of do, just for that reason. Tom bringing out the Steelers pride there. Never forget the feeling of literally playing out the s'more joke from The Sandlot with a French student in college. Wow. I love that for you. I love that you got to do that in real life with someone. What a beautiful thing. If anyone hasn't seen Sandlot and doesn't know about the s'mores scene, I would at least YouTube the s'mores scene. I've definitely checked that it's on there in the past. But also, Sandlot is a great movie. I love it. It's a good summertime movie. Or just any baseball season time. Just some good encouragement in the chat from Joe for Dora and me. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've watched all of The Sandlot in a very long time either. I feel like several of my friends have talked about watching it a lot in recent years, but we haven't. I think also that the Mets did like a viewing night in the stadium of the Sandlot a couple years ago, that I almost went to. And I think maybe I had a show or something, I couldn't go. But that sounded very fun. I think the main time when a lot of us were talking about a Sandlot rewatch was when the League of Their Own TV show came out, and we were just all like in a baseball mood. It'd be a great backyard projector on a bedsheet movie. Absolutely. Yeah, Tom, you should watch the whole thing. I feel like The Sandlot is, not universally, but like a frequently cited, like, favorite movie of trans masks and like butch lesbians and just, yeah, more masculine or tomboy kind of folks were often really into The Sandlot. As were people of many other genders, but it seems to be a fave of those of us of that flavor. Young 20-something at work mentioned getting a mystery bag of 3 movies from the library. One was The Dark Crystal, and they were like, I couldn't finish it. It was so creepy. I would never show it to my children, and I was like, that was my childhood. Is Dark Crystal in Indiana Jones? But yeah, there's definitely movies that, you know, if you saw them as a kid, they maybe didn't feel as creepy, and then you rewatch them as an adult, or someone watches them for the first time as an adult, and they find them like creepy or scary. My brother could not handle E.T., and it was always he was my older brother, so it was always a point of pride for me that I liked E.T. I liked all the alien movies he was scared of. Oh, Dark Crystal is Jim Henson. Oh, yeah, I definitely have not seen it, but I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, any of you, because I think a few of you are a little bit older than I am. Did you watch Return of Oz? I didn't watch that till maybe like high school age. It was not a part of my like movies that traumatized me as a child as it was for so many elder millennials and Gen Xers. The Sandlot, approved by boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. Yeah, it turns out that pickup baseball games have the same genders as flag football. That one scene from Return to Oz. I'm not sure I know what one scene you're talking about. I probably should, if one could describe it just by that one scene, but it's not coming to me right now. Yeah, I feel like Return to Oz and Dark Crystal are similar vibes. I mean, Labyrinth is also similar, but from what I've heard, not as creepy. Labyrinth is one I've been meaning to rewatch forever, because I just do not remember it. And I'm a huge David Bowie fan, so it's really shameful. I'm both a huge David Bowie fan and a huge Muppet fan, so it's like particularly bad that I barely remember Labyrinth. Oh, I see what you mean, Tom. It was just, there was one scene. Got it. Oh, Sarah thought Labyrinth was more creepy. Okay. Your mileage may vary. Melby, I think I heard about that. It's a new lesbian softball show coming out. Yeah, I think I maybe saw, like, some kind of post about it, kind of in reference to Heated Rivalry, of just like, you've been loving Heated Rivalry? Here comes this show. I mean, I'm very excited to get more, like, lesbian-forward shows, and I'm just very upset that they canceled A League of Their Own. The A League of Their Own TV show was phenomenal. It is one of the few, like, recent TV shows that I've actually gone back and rewatched the whole thing. It was just so good. And, definitely a shame that it was canceled. So much is canceled these days. I finished watching House of Guinness last night on Netflix. And I will not say any spoilers in case anyone is interested in watching it. I did enjoy it quite a bit. It got a little sexier than I expected at times, which is fun. But it ends on an enormous cliffhanger. Like, one of the bigger cliffhangers that I've seen in a way ever. It's not as high stakes a show as, like, I don't know, Breaking Bad or something, but, like, it was a pretty huge cliffhanger. And it has not been renewed for season 2. And I just feel like we are in a media climate right now with, you know, awful people running all of the big media distributors. And they're canceling shows left and right. And I just feel like, as a creative, like, as a writer, like, those CEOs do not care. If you're trying to do a big cliffhanger as a strategy to make sure you get a season 2, that's not gonna work. They don't care. So all you're doing is, like, upsetting the audience even more, because there is an incredibly huge chance that season 2 of your show will never get made. And so now you're just gonna have all of these fans who are, like, left wanting, which I don't know, maybe there's some strategy in that, but to me it just feels like irresponsible and, like, not the way to be doing TV right now, because everything gets canceled, nothing gets renewed. I feel like even if you were greenlit for season 2, these platforms have been revoking those kinds of things lately. But certainly if you weren't even greenlit for a second season, don't end on a cliffhanger. I'm a little behind. Melby, were you saying A League of Their Own being canceled? A League of Their Own was canceled. There will not be a second season. House of Guinness, I just don't know. It's very new. My Lady Jane. Did My Lady Jane do that? Yeah, everything about the current, like, TV media landscape really grinds my gears. I mean, like, mostly just as a consumer, a little bit as someone with, like, a lot of friends who, not a lot of friends, but a good number of acquaintances who are, like, TV show writers, and, like, I mean, the strike was kind of helpful, but it's just all a mess, and it's so hard to have a career in any field right now. But some of the ways that entertainment is being transformed and sucked dry, I think maybe it's just top of mind because I and many of us engage with entertainment on a daily basis. Yeah, Sarah, that's probably a good point of by the time your last episode aired, if you hadn't started shooting next season, it wasn't going to happen. And I haven't dug super deep into seeing if House of Guinness, like, has started shooting or anything, but from a cursory search, there was nothing about, like, Netflix renewed it for season 2. Like, nothing like that, so. My Lady Jane sounds a little bit familiar, but I'm not remembering at the moment. What was that one about? What platform is it on? Was that the one with kind of the throuple? Or what it looked like to me? I was just about to say, like, God, it's so cold. Yeah, no kidding, dude. But I guess I'm starting to notice it. That phone call I took from my landlord, he feels so bad. And he has offered to, like, put me up somewhere, but I'm just sort of like, I got friends I can stay with if I need to. But he, at one point, he's this very, very nice older man, and he was like, I'm keeping my heating down in solidarity. And I was like, you don't need to do that. Like, that's not gonna help anyone. But it was very, very kind of him. Yeah. Do we need a jumping jacks redeem? I did actually think about that briefly at one point, because I have, like, the wrist stretches, and I was like, should I add some kind of, like, exercise redeem tonight? Okay, My Lady Jane, Henry VIII era. Oh, okay, so that Jane. She's made queen, but her love interest has a cursed horse. A horse curse. Dor, I have historically had not great landlords, so I am so with you. And that's what I, like, almost was about to explain to him, like, when he was feeling so bad. I was like, I have been without heat for longer and had landlords who did not care at all. Like, the fact that you're trying to resolve it, let alone the fact that you're being kind about it, is huge. Yeah, I don't think I have a hydrate redeem at the moment, but you know what? I've just been drinking chocolate for a while, so I should have some water. Okay, My Lady Jane, the horse curse show, swerves hard into unexpected fantasy elements and is very funny. All right. Gotta add it to the list. I would not be shocked if it's actually already on my list if I go to look at it, because it did sound familiar and very much up my alley. For the handful of Dan and Phil fans who are here, I was listening to the latest episode of their podcast that dropped this morning, and Phil apparently had a dream that he like created a new video game called Horse Expansion, which is just the funniest set of words already. And then he explained that the way the game works is that you'd have a horse and you can add rooms inside the horse. So it's like The Sims, but in a horse. And it's called a Horse Expansion. And I was just cracking up. And Dan was just like not into it. And I was like, no, we need to explore this so much further, because this is amazing. Yeah, I haven't gone on Tumblr or anything yet today, but I'm really hoping there's fan art of the Horse Expansion game already. Oh my god, Sarah, it's a Trojan horse. You're so smart. Wow. Yeah, Horse Expansion absolutely sounds like a game that people would be into. And not for the weird reasons that Dan said. I think it's just like such a goofy concept that it would really take off. Horse Expansion. What a name. Floss is getting tangled. Gotta let it hang for a minute. Melby has a game called Enclosed.horse. Oh, okay. You didn't mean to make it. Okay. So this will not lead me anywhere? Oh no. It's trying to open Firefox. Don't do that. You'll make OBS freeze. Enclose horse. Yeah, not to get too into another podcast that people may not have listened to, but just briefly, Tom, I was also perturbed by that, specifically because, like, at least in the States, sometimes the town or somewhere will try to value your house in order to raise your property taxes. So I totally thought that's where that story was going at first. Luckily for them, it was not. But, like, that is very much a thing. And you do not have to let those people in. For anyone who might be a homeowner or a renter in a house, if you have like someone from town who says that they want to like come value your property, you do not have to let them in. Or at least you don't on that first time they come by. I don't know all of the details about rights and regulations, and probably it can change by jurisdiction. But I don't think there's any legal reason why you have to let them in just because they say they're from the town. Oh, the link did work? Sarah, I'm so with you. Especially now I have a doorbell camera. And so I can usually see what's going on if someone's coming to my door, and I very frequently will not answer. I also, we get a lot of, salesmen trying to sell us, solar stuff, or, I don't know, any kind of thing like that. Because I'm a renter, luckily I have a very good out of just sorry, I don't own this property, I can't make any decisions, bye. But we also have, a milkman that keeps trying to get me as a client, and I'm always I'm lactose intolerant, sorry. And they're like, we have non-dairy options. It's I'm not gonna pay for a boutique milkman. I clip my coupons and go to the grocery store to get my discount almond milk. Melby, I wonder if it's a millennial thing or if it's a millennial and below thing. I kind of doubt Gen Z's just opening the door willy-nilly either. What are folks crafting on tonight? I know Door's painting. Rototo had finished a tank top, although I don't think that's what he was doing on stream because he was cooking. Is anyone else crafting tonight? Or did I just forget? And if that case, I apologize. Oh, Sarah, I've had a couple of times where I've been able to like get a salesperson to be like, well, can't beat that. Because I am a thrifty person. And so like anytime someone's like, ooh, this service will like save you money, and I'm like, okay, your amount of like what an average person spends on things is so much more than what I actually spend on things, so I would actually be spending more money on your service that is supposed to save money. I'm trying to think of one. Oh, well, this I think was kind of a lie. But when I was getting my internet set up when I moved, the guy who was on the phone with me was just like, if you sign up for our like TV streaming thing, then it'll give you this promotional discount on your internet for however many months. And I was like, oh, I don't need it. But this guy was cool. And he was like, no, you can cancel it. But if you sign up with it, you'll get this discount for like 6 months. And I was like, all right, cool. But that meant they had to send me like this whole like box to set it up, all this equipment. And I canceled it, but then I still had like a little bit of a monthly charge until I returned the equipment. And I knew, or maybe it was when I was canceling, when I called to cancel, I was like, all right, they're going to try really hard to get me to keep this thing. And like, I do not want it at all. Like, I have all the streaming TV stuff that I want. I don't need their crappy streaming subscription thing. And so I just lied and said that I had been given a Google TV as a gift. And the guy was just like, oh, well, I can't beat free, so okay, I'll cancel for you. And I was like, okay, this is the key. If you can tell someone that you like got something for free, or that if you got it for a price that they really can't compete with, like this internet company also now does mobile phone stuff, and they'll try to sell me on the mobile phones, and I'm like, I'm on a family plan of Google Fi with my brother. I pay next to nothing for my phone bill, and it's like definitely less than anything they're trying to offer. So then they usually back off because they're like, no, I really can't go that low on a deal. So whether or not it's true, if you're able to bring up something like that to people, you can get out of things. Ooh, Tom, working on your ramen bowl cross stitch. Mikey's crocheting a soft lap blanket. That sounds very nice. My grandmother used to crochet lap blankets for folks in the like senior citizens home. What do we call that? Assisted living. I don't actually know what kind of organization or housing type, but I just remember that she was crocheting lap blankets for people who were older than her. She made all of us Afghans for like certain life milestones, but I think as all the grandkids started like passing those milestones, she needed more people to crochet for. And so she would crochet little lap blankets for folks. The cats are 80% done for Joe. That's exciting. What activity is the cat that you are currently cross-stitching doing? Joe's been working on a pattern with cats doing all kinds of different things, getting up to mischief. Sarah's working on the Hanklerfish cross-stitch. Very, very fun. Door opened the door one time for Jehovah's Witness. Asked if you'd found God. Oh my gosh, you were 6 years old and they asked you? you were like sitting Shiva at the time? Oh my gosh. Wow, smart thing to do to get the rabbi. Like being 6 years old and kind of knowing to do that. Or like having the thought to do that. That is very good. Joe is presenting Forbidden... Joe is presenting Forbidden Belly. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. Sorry, the cat is presenting the Forbidden Belly. So sorry about that. Gotta get more floss. Okay. I was asking what everyone is crafting in part because I fixed the screen share in OBS, so it'll be a little bit easier to do a show and tell if folks want to do a show and tell. Would anyone be into that? We could do it towards the end of the stream. Twitch gave you 12 channel points as reparations. How? I'm glad it did, but how did that happen? Or was that a joke? We've gone into so many fantasy worlds tonight. I'm a little unclear on what's real and what's not. Like PETA. Alright, we got one vote for a show and tell. That's probably all I need. I need to make a panel or something at some point with all of the different commands. But someone want to do me a favor and do ! show and tell in the chat, and that'll get the link and the instructions to the show and tell page if you need them. Sarah might have to leave before I did it. But yeah, please share. Yeah, and you could see him on the VOD later. Door, I can do like a brief content warning before we show yours. And maybe I'll also, if you want to post it, maybe I'll check it out first and I will say I reserve the right to decide that maybe I shouldn't show it, but I can also just, it'll be fun for me to see at the very least. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and show it, and I'll kind of check it out and see if it's something that I could share with a little bit of a content warning, or if maybe it's a little too gory to share on stream. Thank you, Melby, for that. Just slightly. Yeah, it's probably fine then. The instructions are there in the chat, but just so folks know, this is a website called Padlet. You do not need to make an account or anything like that to share. It is all anonymous, so if you want me to know who you are, you can just put your username in the caption. And if you are posting something there, I am assuming that you are okay with me sharing it on the screen when we do the show and tell. If you do not want that to happen, if you just want to share it so that I can see it, but you don't want it to be on stream, put that in the caption as well, and I will respect that. It will be a little bit clunky tonight. I was trying it out a little bit ago, and doing it via screen share is actually a little bit harder for me to like actively see the captions. But I think if I just have like 2 tabs open, I'll make it work. Got an ad coming up in about 2.5 minutes. Nice one, Sarah. Yeah, no rush to share right now. I think, I don't know, maybe we'll say like 8:15-ish. We'll do a little show and tell. So if you want to keep on working, get to a point that you'll feel excited sharing. Oh yeah, a little after 8 o'clock. I think it was, we were talking last week about what should we do at 8 o'clock, and I did have the thought of like, oh, maybe show and tell at 8 o'clock, and I think at some point the reason I decided not was maybe because I was like, that's too early if I like stream later, or maybe I just wanted it to be something goofier. I don't remember what my rationale was, because right now that actually sounds like a fine idea. I'll keep thinking about it. Okay, I really gotta say, I think autofocus is so the move. I'm such a like film school kid that I tend to be anti like auto anything, and turns out autofocus for streaming, pretty great. One less thing I have to futz with. Oh, Padlet won't let you do anything. Yeah, try on your laptop. I'm not overly familiar with the platform. We've only used it like twice before here, and I hadn't used it prior to this. So I don't think I will be of much technical help to you. Hopefully it'll work on your laptop. I don't think I've tried it on mobile at all. What? Folks are getting... Okay, let me look if there's anything that I should do. Or maybe I'll just do a quick little test. Let's see if I can upload anything. Okay. Well, it worked for me, but that might just be because I'm the one who made it. Upload errors. That feels like probably not something related to me needing to adjust settings. That might just be like the website being funky right now. Oh, such a bummer. Okay, I tried adjusting one quick thing. I don't know if it will have made a difference, but if any of you want to maybe refresh and try one more time. If not, I don't know what to do about that. Yep, it is ad time. Yeah, maybe it'll clear itself up after 8 o'clock. It's just waiting for 8 o'clock. That's what's going on. Oh, now that I can see my username in the chat, I think I did design the 6-month subscriber badge, because I'm pretty sure that mine changed. Nice. Often I try to use ad times to update the stitch total, which would be like a great thing to do. I'm not positive how accurate it is tonight, though. Even if I add all these... Oh, the iPad's just been out for a while. There we go. This is kind of accurate, but it's not complete. Ah. Okay, thank you, Joe. Posting may be disabled on current. Okay, okay. We're gonna try the Padlet settings. Okay. I think that should be fixed now. There's not like a save button on the settings, which feels strange. I also don't know why that would have reverted. Like, it stayed fine a couple weeks in a row, but now it reverted to those settings. Well, someone give it a shot if you don't mind. I know it's probably annoying. It works now! Yay! Well, Joe, thank you so much for catching that for me. So that I knew to look for that. The fact that it's like in the share settings threw me for a loop. I was only looking at the settings. You would think that would be enough. Thanks Dor. Thanks to everyone who was sitting through the ads just there. You might have seen in the chat that Joe helped me find where I needed to adjust the settings, and it seems like uploading to Padlet is working now. I just saw someone's come in here. I think it's Joe's. So it should work for everyone else. I don't think we're gonna get to the blue of the fish today. However, I think it would be nice to finish all of the brown on stream. That feels like a good goal. But we'll see, because as early as it is, I'm also already getting sleepy. And I'm also getting cold. So I might need to end and get into a warm shower or something on the slightly sooner end. Plus, we gotta do the show and tell. So it might be a little ambitious to say that I want to finish all of the brown, but I like the idea of that goal. So, a few days ago, a friend invited me to go roller skating, which is a thing I have not done probably since I was a kid. I think I went to a roller rink in Brooklyn once, maybe like 10 years ago. I don't remember if I got blades or skates. But yeah, I was at a roller rink, and it was like specifically adults only, and lots of people were kind of like dressed up. Not quite in costumes, but I don't know how, in the ways that people might get like fun and creative at like a pride party or something. It was like really fun vibes, and I like can't wait to go back again. It took me a little bit to get back into it and be like, okay, my feet are on wheels. And I was thinking of Return to Oz. I was thinking about the Wheelers for a little bit. But once I got into it, it's so fun, and it's like, in a way, almost meditative. You're just going round and round and round again. I mean, you gotta be watching for the traffic of other people and trying to stay upright and all those things, but it is so fun. Yeah, it's like relatively close. I think there's actually one that's even closer to me. That's not where we went. But yeah, I don't know. It also just felt like such good old-fashioned fun, you know, and more analog because phones aren't allowed on the rink. Although there was at least one person who was trying to film TikToks, and she kept getting called out, and I think eventually stopped. She was quite persistent for a while though. Oh, door skates outside. Oh no, I'm sorry you fell over last week, bro. Oh, hello! Sam, welcome in. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so much for raiding. We were just talking about roller skating over here, but what were you doing over on your stream? And thank you for the follow. We do anonymous follows over here, but if you want to say hello in the chat, feel free. That goes for anyone, but especially if you follow and want a little shout out, feel free to say hi in the chat. And also, if you want to lurk, and after a little bit you like what's going on here, feel free to follow anonymously. Oh, these are fun little animated emotes going on here. Is that your face coming out of a bunch of yarn? That's very cool. Sambar 6 Peak. Well, welcome in, Raiders. My name is Jack, and I am working on some custom cross-stitched organizers for the board game Wingspan, or tabletop game, I guess I should say. It's a game where you essentially collect birds, and it comes with lots of little pieces, as many tabletop games do. And I am making these little like nests for the food tokens. Been working on these for a while. This one's gonna be a fish, but we're probably not getting to the fish tonight. Sam had a short stream, couldn't decide on what to do, so I'm gonna clean my desk instead. Nice. Yeah, who's your emote artist? Because I love those. Those are great. And yes, yeah, we raided Sam a couple weeks ago. That's how we met Sam. They're awesome. We had so much fun in their stream, so thank you, Sam, for popping in here. Also, I hope you're feeling better. You were sick last week, right? Or a couple weeks ago? Thank you for the lurk there, Island Jamie Lee. The Dizzies. Yeah, please do. I'm like on the fence about commissioning as I sort of like figure out all of my different design elements, but I'm definitely doing a little bit of recon into various artists whose work that I like, and that was a very fun emote. So please do send me the dizzies. Also, I failed at giving a shout out earlier. I want to give you a shout out. However, I don't think I know how to do it correctly, because I tried to just do like command shout out. Do I just write your name? Because I @symboled it last time. Maybe that'll work. No, see, that's nothing. It is a verbal shout out. So any folks who were here before, go check out Sam. Message was supposed to be... Oh, it was supposed to be the emotes! Okay, Hammy, that makes more sense. I was like, I don't know this inside joke yet. Everyone's gonna have to tell me. That, yes, looking back at the structure of those words, that makes way more sense. And hey, I have been... I fail at so many Twitch things, including trying to give a shout out. So, you are in a welcome and similar space here. But yeah, so you're cleaning your desk now, or that's what you were doing on stream? Into it either way. We are having a little cozy stream here, because my heating is currently out. My furnace broke today. More accurately, I think it kind of broke last night. So I'm trying to keep warm from the vibes and the support of everyone on stream. And soon, we're going to do a little show and tell. It's... Okay, it's slash. See, I thought it was something else, but I couldn't remember. Okay, and then we go... Okay. Shout out, and then brackets. Okay, did I do it this time? Nope, the channel I'm shouting out doesn't exist. I must have spelled your name wrong. Okay. Trying again. BRB... Oh, work's pulling you in. Ooh. Gross. Sorry about that. I apparently also can't spell your channel name, so, you know, that's a thing. But yeah, hello, welcome in, Raiders. I was saying, so if anyone coming from Sam's channel is crafting along... Thank you, Joe! That's exactly what I was about to do. We're gonna do a show and tell in about 12 minutes. So I'm gonna put up on screen pictures that people are submitting of the crafts that they've been working on. So if you've been working on anything and you want to share it with this stream, I promise everyone here is very friendly and fun people. You are, welcome to submit it there. Padlet is a website. You do not have to have an account to upload anything. You don't have to like sign up for anything. You can just anonymously upload a photo of a craft that you're working on. And there is a little caption space. So if you want to add your username so I can give you a shout out as we share your work, or if you want to tell me anything about it or say like, hey, I want to share this with you, but I don't want it to be shared on stream. Just probably not any of you Raiders, because you probably don't know who I am, so I don't know exactly why you'd want to share it with me and not on stream. But, you know, you do you. But anyway, that's an option. If you don't want it to be shared on the stream, just write that in the caption. But yeah, in about a little over 10 minutes, we'll do a show and tell. So you can follow that link and the instructions in the chat if you want to join in on the show and tell. And until then, I'm just chugging away at my little fish food token nest and failing to keep all of my floss together on this needle. That is the most immediate thing that's happening. More furnace lore, talking about me not having heat right now. The last place that I lived in New York was almost always too hot. I was like never cold there, because as I did with most places I lived in New York, I actually just lived above my landlord. It was like a row house. This is pretty common in Queens, which is an outer borough of New York City. Um, and that landlord kept things very warm, so our radiators were always so hot. And little known fact is that the radiators in New York City were largely installed during the 1918 pandemic, and just like in that early time period when there was a lot of illness and disease going around. And so one of the best things that you can do for illness is have good ventilation. Stops the spread of diseases a little bit, not like completely stops, but it helps prevent transmission to have good ventilation going on. So the radiators in New York were designed to be hot enough that you would leave your windows open even in the wintertime when it was super cold. So a lot of people who live in New York City will complain about the radiators being super, super hot, and that is why. They were designed that way on purpose for disease prevention. And so that was definitely the case at that row house thing that I lived in. I didn't control my heat at all. My landlord did, and she kept those radiators really hot. But the place that I lived before that didn't have the same style of radiators and had a different kind of heating. It was like kind of baseboard heating. But that landlord, who I also just lived right above, did not keep things super hot. It was often quite cold there. So I got used to being very cold. And I sadly had to leave that apartment because my landlord passed away. He was pretty old when we moved in. He was just over 90, I think, when he passed away. And we knew some of his family. They like lived on the street. We'd seen them over the years. But the house was left to a different family member who did not want to continue owning it. He wanted to sell the house. And it turned out the people he sold it to didn't want tenants, so we had to move out. But during the sort of interim period where like that son who inherited the house was de facto in charge of our needs as tenants, the heat like got turned off, or at least it got really, really cold because this was all happening in the winter time. And my roommate and I just thought he was trying to like ice us out because we knew they wanted us to leave sooner than we were. But like we were still trying to find a place and we knew what our tenants' rights are, so we weren't getting out of there. But we thought they were like purposefully trying to make it cold for us. And eventually at some point he came over and had to do something and realized how cold it was, and then he was like, why didn't you tell me? And he cranked up the heat, and like it was all fine, and we should have spoken up. But just to say that I have experience with being too cold. Yeah, I also feel like one of the reasons that I wasn't proactive in talking to that family was that was where I was living when I transitioned and like when I started T. And so I physically looked different and was going by a different name and pronouns, but hadn't told them because why would I tell them? So it was just very uncomfortable for me, and I knew that they were more conservative, and so I was scared of interacting with them at all and having to like explain myself in some way. And I feel like that's just like such a like low-key minor example of the ways in which queer and trans people, I think especially like trans people and anyone who whose presentation is not conforming to certain mainstream standards, like is not discriminated against but can have these additional challenges. Because I just like I didn't know how to handle that situation, and so it prevented me from asking them to turn my heat on, which was a thing I needed in the wintertime. So I don't know, just got me thinking about that. Fun topics of conversation to be having. Dora, I think you uploaded the doll, so thank you, that's very cool. But if you didn't, please do. Sarah will typically take being cold over hot. I go back and forth on that. I'm gonna say right now, I will optimistically say I prefer being cold because I can do it. I'm strong. See, Sarah, Japan knows what's up. Yeah, air things out. I mean, I gotta say, like, I grew up in Texas where you really did need powerful air conditioning, and so like I'm just very used to the feeling of central air conditioning and really wanting that, and like living in New York City where those summers get long and hot these days, and not having central AC and not even having like window units for many years. I did not enjoy that. I did just drop the floss. Oh, I got it. And I know that central air conditioning is not good for the environment, and that we need a lot more of these like sustainable design solutions. Like, I mean, designing the buildings better and different times that you're opening and closing the shades and the windows and all kinds of things like that. But at the end of the day, I really just prefer some strong central AC. And I do know, I mean, it was really hard for me before I had a window unit, which I would say was like maybe the first 7-ish years that I lived in New York City. I didn't have like a window unit AC. I eventually had like a portable AC, but man, those are not the same. And it would be so hard for me to concentrate in that heat and humidity when I'd try to work throughout the day, and it would be so hard for me to sleep at night and like stay asleep. So yeah, I think the heat can really get to me, which is funny as someone who grew up in Texas. But again, in Texas, like you don't go outside as much when it's hot, and everywhere has air conditioning, and you're like driving around in an air conditioned car. I will take a Texas summer over a New York City summer anytime, and I've been saying that for like 15 years. I stand by it. New York City summer is so much worse. It is a little bit shorter, but there are many days where it gets just as hot, and you gotta walk around in that, and so many buildings, including most likely your home, do not have air conditioning. Yeah, I think I probably get cranky if I'm physically hot. I just get mental fog pretty bad when I'm hot. It's like I feel like when I get to a certain level of warm, I think the only activity I'd be good for is like sipping a nice tea on a front porch in a rocking chair. There's nothing more we can do when it gets hot. That is all that should be asked of us when it gets to 90 degrees. No one's brains are functioning at that point. Oh, yeah, Tom, I am absolutely the same way. I feel like there are whole swaths of my life that I was like, I'm just not going there anymore when I transitioned. It just felt so much easier than having the conversation. Like, obviously, it would probably be fine in many cases, or would have been then. I'm much more skeptical now. But, you know, if I had another option, I'm just not gonna have that awkward conversation. We'll find somewhere else. Oh, Sarah grew up in South Florida. Yeah, way worse than Texas. Yep, just because you can do it doesn't mean you like it. I mean, that said, being a Texas boy, like these New England winters, I definitely get colder than other people. Kids around here like won't even wear jackets, and it's below freezing. It's wild. Well, go enjoy your workout class, Sarah. Yes, you are missing show and tell just by a few minutes. I'm sorry about that. But have fun at your workout class. Stay warm there. I'm gonna imagine I'm as warm as if I were at a workout class. I will be at one tomorrow morning. It's gonna warm me up so much. It's gonna be great. Oops. And yes, all of everyone's projects you'll be able to see them in the VOD if you watch later. It is 8:15. That is when I said I was going to do show and tell. I will do that after I get just a couple stitches in on this piece of floss, since I went through all this trouble to thread the floss. So, you know, might as well. Oh, Joe, your question about clipping. Yeah, I got a little distracted double checking last week on like what my settings are for like auto approval or whatever. But it is definitely my intention to kind of like look through them all and decide which ones to like feature and stuff. So yeah, go for it. Also, you know, while I do not always like folks I encounter in my day-to-day life to know that I'm trans, because I don't feel like they need to know, I'm clearly very open about it on the internet with the YouTube and the book and everything. So I appreciate you asking and double checking. And just in general, aside from trans stuff, yeah, I have some power of approving as the person on the channel. I just don't totally remember how it all works. But yeah, you're all good. Tom, I'm trying to think if I've ever used the my sister line. I've definitely thought about it when I've like catastrophized in my head of how something might go, but I don't know if I've ever actually done it. My biggest thing is like there were a lot of people that I met through my work and through like YouTube-y stuff in the years before I transitioned. And sometimes I maybe like said things around them that was like kind of cringe in retrospect. And so I just like would really lean into the fact of them not remembering who I was. And like when we met again after I had started transitioning, if they didn't remember me, I like did not for a second be like, yeah, we've met. Because I was like, no, if they don't remember me, and I've got a good excuse of like why they won't remember me because I have a different name and I look different now, like I would just like rolled with it. And it felt like a clean slate for a lot of embarrassing moments that I had had with people. And I think some of them did remember me, and that was unfortunate. Okay, get to the end of this row, transitioning to escape the cringe. I mean, it's a nice byproduct. When you can make it work. Nice little byproduct. Byproduct. Ha ha. Okay. So let me first of all remember what scene I put this on. I think it was probably over here. Or maybe not. Maybe I put it over here. I did. Okay. But now, I think what I want to do is I will have 2 of these open. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh wow, I really am getting quite tired. I'm suddenly remembering the fact that I was up for 4 hours in the middle of the night last night. I think kind of the like adrenaline of the furnace situation has kept me awake and alert all day, which I'm very grateful for. But I think it's starting to hit me of how tired I am. Okay, so slideshow, and what order is it going in? It's going in backwards order. Okay. I just need to remember to check behind the scenes before I advance each slide. Although, I say that, and I'm not entirely positive how much my options are gonna be for what I screen share. So we're just gonna learn as we go. And let me double check if there's anyone. I don't think anyone said don't show theirs. Dor, I'm sorry that people say that to you, like, most of all, because I just feel like people don't need to be commenting on other people's presentation, especially in, like, a trans kind of way. During my 4 hours awake in the middle of the night last night, I was, like, scrolling Reddit to try to put myself to sleep, as if that works. It actually does work for me often. And there was some, like, cis person posting in a trans subreddit that was like, I have this friend who is like really confident he passes, but he doesn't, and should I tell him? And their post was worded like much more nicely, but that was the gist of it. And not only was everyone like, no, not unless he asks you, like maybe be gently honest if he asks you directly, but like don't just bring it up. But people also had the very good point of like, you say that he thinks he does, but like if you are hearing him be misgendered, we can 100% guarantee he is experiencing that as well. Like there's no way that the only times he's not passing is when like people are referring to him in front of you. Like he knows, trust us, he knows. Which I'm not saying is necessarily the same thing for you, Dor, but just the idea that like people are commenting on other people's presentations in that way. That's when it's not a solicited thing, when people don't want you to be saying that. But also, man, the ways we look over the years be changing all the time. You'll age and your style will evolve and all kinds of things will change over time. I can't tell in how you phrased that if you agree with what people say or if you're like super upset about that or anything, but if you're feeling discouraged, just know that like as time goes on, you know, and you age and maybe you do different things transition wise or just style wise, you'll probably just lean into being more content and happy with how you feel about how you look or just how you feel. And Tom brings up a really good point too, is people who knew you before you transitioned often have a very different mental image of who you are. Like there's all those stories about people's families like still misgendering them in public when the person like very much is read as a binary gender that is not the gender the family is misgendering them as, you know, like calling a big burly bearded dude their daughter. And it's just like, okay, you're the one who seems weird in public right now because no one else is seeing daughter in that, you know. Ace, a little bit of a deep moment. I was about to do show and tell, and then we kind of got on a stream about that. But also, yeah, thank you for. I'm also glad that I found my Game Boy. Aw, Dora, I'm sorry to hear that it was a bully who continued to be bullying. But also, yeah, acceptance of queerness, and you know what? Yeah, having a partner who sees you like through their loving eyes can be such a huge help. So I'm really, really happy that you have Frame. And yeah, don't listen to the bully. If the guy was already a bully, who cares about him? He's clearly got his own issues, and I'm sorry that he's taking them out on you, but yeah. Ignore that dude to the best of your ability. Okay, let's do... This kind of works. What if I do... That's apparently not the button for that. Just trying to get, for Ace or anyone else who was just joining, I'm trying to get the tech of the show and tell going. And I think it's gonna work. Let's try turning it on. Yeah. It's a little uncentered. There we go. But this one is from Dor's doll. She needs a haircut. I love it. So half-finished crochet Cleo plush needs a haircut. She has a hidden squeaker. Okay, that is cool. I thought it was hidden speaker at first. And I was like, this is a Bluetooth speaker? What? But a squeaker is great. The eyes are very fun too. Reminds me of the person who said their gender today is the green cat eyes. Wow, Dor, you're so good at the like 3D amigurumi kind of crocheted stuff. This is so good. I like the colors too. It's like the light blue skin really matches the orange hair. Wow, phenomenal work. Absolutely great. Okay, so I think the next one, hopefully, let's just double check. Yes, okay, so this is Hanklerfish coming. This is Sarah's, I think, right? Yeah, and Sarah had to run, but this is about halfway through a Hanklerfish. I can totally see, or can you see my mouse if I go here? Yeah, kind of. It's very small. But this is the light of the hanklerfish, because it's an anglerfish, but Hank Green. And this is like the tail and the body. Yeah, I like the way that it's made out of little like P4A hearts and kind of rainbowy. What a cool design. Which I'm pretty sure Sarah did herself. Yeah, I really, really like the effect of the hearts. Wow, so cool. And perfect for P4A. The P4A's like symbol is a heart. Oh man, that's gonna be such a great perk. I think Sarah said last week that she's making this with a group of friends and they're gonna like submit them as perks for next year's Project for Awesome. Wow, that's incredible. What great work. Also, I can see it more on my end. Maybe I can, let me make this smaller and then we can see more details. I was gonna say, I can see that Sarah's got a good nerd hoop happening here. I'm fully bought into the nerd hoops now. Okay, next I think is gonna be Melby. Yeah, okay, so this is Melby Toes. Melby, are you still here tonight? You can tell us a little bit more, if you want, about your bodega cats, having lived in New York for so long. I know all about the bodega cats. It takes a pet like no problem. That's a great cat right there. I love the style of this. So is this on, is it a crew neck that you're putting it on? And did you do the comic artwork, or oh, it was an old, the print was fading off. Oh, cool. Oh, nice. Okay, I love that. I'm really trying to like mend clothing instead of just getting rid of it more. So I really like the way that you're just using fabric paint to like, that's also probably got to be a really satisfying textural effect too, instead of just the ink. Wow. I love that. Yeah, that's got me really thinking now about clothes that I have where the ink is kind of fading, and could I just use fabric paint? That's so clever. I mean, it works really well for like a black and white comic like this, but I want to think about how I might do that with other things. That's very, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, next up is, I think, either going to be Tom or Joe. Yes, okay, this is Tom's This Too Shall Pass, but like, holy fuck. You shared like, you were, I think, only halfway done with the flowers or something last time. This is great. I love the finished product. What are you doing with it? Thanks for the follow. We got anonymous follows on the channel here, but if you want to say hi in the chat and get a little shout out, feel free. But otherwise, follows are anonymous on this channel. But thank you so much for the follow, and thank you, Tom, for sharing. Oh, Ace, I'm sorry that the Wi-Fi is being super slow with you. There will be more show and tells, so we can see your finished drawing another time if it doesn't cooperate tonight. Oh, this was the gift for your friend who's going through chemo. That's wonderful. Frame even. I like it. I like the colors a lot. Actually, kind of similar colors to Dora's doll. Just with that light blue and then the kind of orangey yellow. Yeah, how did your friend like it? I hope it brought them a little bit of cheeriness. She did. Nice. Oh, good. Good. We love a happy ending there. Oh, and so, okay, the next one is a drawing from Dor. Small content warning for like watercolors. I think looks like watercolors of blood. Just a little bit, but a little bit of blood and like kind of visible ribs, but it's, I have deemed it tame enough to share on stream. Acrylic paint, pardon. But that is a little content warning, so if anyone wants to just look away from their screens for a moment while we share it, I will vocalize when we are moving on to the next one. But this is a really cool painting, so I do want to share it, and I think it's not too like realistically gory with the blood, but I like this a lot. And is this looks like your doll? Wait, is the doll in the painting like the same character? I just put that together. That's very cool. And it's acrylic. I have not worked with acrylics as much as I have with, like, I did watercolors a lot back in the day. Oh, and it's cut out. Oh, I see that now. Okay, so cut out on the white. What are you gonna do with it as a cutout? And it is the same person. That's so cool. Like, we got to see the same person in, like, two different mediums. Zombie Cleos. Okay, thank you, Mikey, for being able to identify who I can't. If you're gonna put it on a different background, cool. So, like, mixed media effect to kind of have like a cutout instead of just like painting the whole thing together. I like that. I'm always a big fan of stuff like that. I like getting those like extra bits of texture and kind of layering to the scene. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing the two zombie Cleos, which seems like are from Minecraft. Thank you for explaining to Grandpa Jack about those. For anyone who is looking away, we are going to move on to the next show and tell, which does not have a content warning. It's Lil Cats. It's Joe's Cats. Oh no. Okay, I don't think I was trying to snooze all of the ads. I'm so sorry. We might have to sit through ads in a moment. But here's Joe's Cats. Cats. So we have... Oh, it's the one on the left is the one that you were working on? The ads, folks. I was trying to snooze them. Oh, cool. Ace got it uploaded. Cat's bringing mad cat revenue. That's good. Oh, Tom, that's fun that you almost got the pattern. So yeah, you were, okay, you and Joe confirmed. Working on the one on the left, hence why that one doesn't have a face yet. That makes sense. At first I was, because it's like the pattern is so much like the white on black kind of contrast, with the white bags. For a minute, I thought the lack of face on the left was just part of the stylization, and I was really trying to work out what it was, and then I realized it is still a work in progress, and that's what's happening. Oh, well, we're gonna keep looking at the cats for a while because the ads happened, and I don't want to accidentally... Yeah, we got one more that got added, and I might have to, like, circle back around. Yeah, that cat is still loading. There you go. Well, while the ads are playing, thank you so much to everyone who is a subscriber, and thank you to all the folks who resubscribed tonight. Always appreciate that support for the channel. And the ads are over, says Door. Okay. On my end, it looks like there's a minute left. So I don't know if maybe, Door, you got lucky with short ads, and maybe there's other people who still have ads going. Just to be safe, I will wait to advance to the next show and tell slide until it says the ads are fully over on my end. You should feel special, Door. Apparently, you are the chosen one by short ads tonight. Or possibly everyone else has short ads, and I'm just kind of vamping to everyone here right now. That's alright. We'll keep vamping for 26 more seconds. And we'll keep admiring Joe's cats while we do. These mischievous cats getting up to so many different things. Boy, I am so hungry. I had a couple of muffins right before the stream. I thought that would tide me over, but I'm hungry. Maybe I'll make some really warm food after this. I'll have some warm food, and I'll take a warm shower, and I'll get under so many blankets with my heating pad, and it's gonna be great. Barely gonna expand beyond an 8x8 frame. Oh, Joe, that's so frustrating. I bought a frame for a project today because I thought that it was gonna fit in a 5x7, and I have so many 5x7s that I've like thrifted and gotten from garage sales over the years, and it just barely didn't, it maybe would, but it would not look good. So I had to go, I almost got an 8x8 frame for it. I got a 6x8 and it worked. But anyways, thank you all for sitting through the ads. I'm so sorry. I was trying to keep an eye on snoozing them because I was like, the stream's almost over. I don't want you to have to sit through ads, but I missed one of the snoozes and then it would not let me stop it. So I apologize for that. Thank you for sitting through those. We have one more submission, I believe. But I think I might have to go back to the beginning somehow. Or I might have to refresh. Okay, let me actually just take that off real quick. Just so I don't want to accidentally show things I don't want to show. How do I even... Aha! Here we go. Okay, so let's go back here. And we got Ace's Pokemon trainer and the Pokemon around it. Wow! Okay, so you shared a version of this a few weeks ago, right? Oh, it looks great. I'm looking over at I have another monitor that's like slightly higher quality. Or I'm like looking at it a lot bigger, and so I can see all the details and the colors really popping over here. Oh, it's so cute too. It's a very like very fun and lively drawing. I like that it's in movement. Like you can tell that they're all like walking and trotting along with each other. That gives it a lot of good energy. You now have a finished Silvally and a Snorlax. Nice. This is a very fun drawing. I like it a lot. Well, well done on finishing it, and well done on making such fun art. Well done to everyone for all of the art that folks have made and are working on. It's so fun to like actually see what everyone's doing when, you know, we all talk about it in chat and on stream. Good night, Door. Have a good evening. Thank you for popping in, and thanks for sharing your Zombie Cleo multiple artworks with us. And yeah, thank you to everyone who shared in Show and Tell, and who stuck around to watch Show and Tell, even if you didn't share. Oh, Ace, have fun at rehearsal. Go have a great time. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna head out as well. In a few minutes. That was a deep sigh just because I'm tired and hungry and cold. I'm having a lot of fun on stream, but I think my body is telling me that I need to tend to it in various ways and should get off of the computer to do that. But let's check out... Oh, I do have one other thing to share, which is, and I have not put any like promotional work into this yet, but I'm gonna go back to the screen share. DFTBA, which is the like merchandise distributor, originally co-started by John and Hank Green. We were talking about Project for Awesome, Hanklerfish, and Hank Green. They have a creator merchandise store that I've been a part of for many, many years, and they are doing spring cleaning of any products that are like older than 2 years, which happens to be all of my current merchandise. I might make more merch with them in the future, but I do not have any new stuff right now. So they are doing a like warehouse sale to get rid of all of my stuff, a lot of stuff, everyone. It's not just me, but they're getting rid of like a lot of stuff. So it's all on sale. So if you've ever wanted a Will It Waffle t-shirt or a, how can I move this along? I also sell binders. People don't know this. I sell binders for compressing your notes, not your chest. These pens I've always been particularly proud of. Let's see if we can zoom in on them a little bit. They are pens that say, "You can't erase me," because they're pens, but also people can't erase us trans people. No matter what you do, we're still going to exist. We've always existed. Those are just $5 for 4 pens right now. You can get a binder for $10. Will It Waffle shirts are only $10 right now. Oops, I just moved the whole overlay. I was trying to move the screen capture scene. There we go. Got these little Queer Story enamel pins from my short-lived Queer Story series where I interviewed people who were making queer history. And we've also got a little bit of some Will It Waffle. Got magnets, buttons, and of course, the enamel pin, which... Where is it? You could turn into a needle minder the enamel pin. So this warehouse sale I think is going for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, if you want to get any of my merch items, this is your last chance, and this is like the best deals that they have ever been. So you can go to DFTBA. If you just go to dftba.com and search for Jackson Bird, you'll find any of it. I guess I could put a link in the chat. But yeah, I'll be promoting this a bit more in all the places as the weeks come, because this is the last chance for me. Whoa, you don't need to see all of that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. But yeah, that's good sale, last chance ever. Whatever doesn't sell, they are shipping to me, but I mean, I'm not gonna like ship out orders to people. If you happen to be in New England, maybe I will vend at a like queer craft fair at some point, but that is very hypothetical. So if you are interested in any of those products and would like to get them for cheap, especially if you're in the US, I do not remember what DFTBA's international shipping is like. I know they do it. I just don't know what the prices are like. But anyways, that's my quick promo of all my merch that's about to be gone forever in a way and is on sale right now. Okay, back to finding someone to raid. I'm always like, oh, I'm too tired. I don't want to. But we meet so many nice friends when we raid. So, okay, well, here's someone who's maybe crocheting? Just gonna mute this tab. Oh, also, OBS is, really... Or my computer is breathing heavily. Ooh, this person is doing lace making. This looks very cool. I think I'm gonna try this person. They are 18 plus, but I think that's okay for this crowd. And looks like it's a LGBT safe space, I think. I mean, I feel pretty certain about that. My I think was trying to determine if the streamer was themselves or what their pronouns were. Yeah, my computer is ready for sleep. We're all ready for sleep, but if anyone is not ready for sleep yet and wants to keep watching some Twitch, we are going to raid the Traveling Tatter and hopefully meet a new friend. So I will put that in there. Our raid message could be something like, "We're bringing the heat." I don't know, that might claim more energy than we actually have. I think that's it. Just gonna go top of the dome raid message. That's what I came up with. That's what I'm going with. Bringing the heat. And then maybe I will elaborate when asked. We're bringing the mildly lukewarm. Feel free to say that if that's what you would prefer, Tom. Oh no, they might have raids off. Oh, I think we can't raid them. What a bummer. Well, if anyone's interested in lace making, you can bookmark their channel for another time, because, I mean, that's interesting to me. I'm curious about how that works. Okay, let me find someone else for us to bring the heat to. Casey Snow is on. We could check out Casey again. Ooh, okay, this person seems to be doing maybe some amigurumi. Instead of an LGBT tag, they have a Christian tag, so they might be totally fine, but I'm not gonna raid that without having checked first. So yeah, maybe not that. Okay, but here's a cross stitcher. Ooh, someone who loves crafty and spooky things. Okay, but let's check out a little bit of... Okay. We, perhaps literally will be. Okay, this Madame Juniper, who's doing, a very, like, classy looking cross-stitch and is Canadian. And I don't know what this means, but one of their tags says knitted knockers. And that's funny to me. And they also say co-working as a tag, so probably up for some co-working and co-crafting. Oh my god, no channels found on them either? Okay, you know what? It might be that we don't raid tonight. Fate might be saying no. I'll put that person's, if you want to check them out. I don't know if it's on my end or if I've just like happened to encounter 2 people we can't raid. But you know what? I might just go ahead and say I'm not gonna raid tonight, because I am also just thinking through like that my fingers are getting cold and I don't know if I want to like type a whole conversation while I'm trying to clean up and warm up. So, especially since we already struck out twice and it was a little hard for me to find folks, I think I might just not raid tonight. And I know some of you are kind of going to bed already anyways. So I put links to 2 folks if you want to just go check them out on your own, manually, without raiding. They both looked cool from a very cursory glance. Or I would also say Casey Snow Art is on right now, and Paleontologizing, which I've never watched him for that long, but he's a paleontologist who just talks about dinosaurs and goes on digs and stuff. So those are 3 people I would recommend if you're still sticking around and no one else that you're like following is online right now. But yeah, I'm gonna go warm up and hopefully stay warm through the night. Yeah, thank you all for helping me warm up tonight, and keeping my brain occupied while I go through this furnace saga. And oh, I will not be here next week. That is in the Twitch schedule, on my channel schedule. I will try to remember to post about it. But yeah, I will not be streaming next week. I'll catch you the week after that. So I hope you all have a great 2 weeks, and I look forward to seeing, you know, where everyone is at on their projects. Until then, and if you want to keep up with me elsewhere, I might post a little bit on Blue Sky, Instagram, or YouTube. Jack is not a bird, and all the places. Links are in my about. If you want to make sure that I haven't died of the cold, you can go there to do that. I also hope the Furnace Saga is resolved soon. Thank you for that, Tom. Thanks to everyone who followed and subscribed and resubscribed tonight. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I can't wait to see you all again in 2 weeks. All right. Good night, everyone.